can't hear myself. Oh, I hear myself now.
You hear yourself like T.
Yo.
Turn me up in the headphones.
So y'all didn't get nothing from the store from me?
Wow, we thought you was here already.
Yeah.
You know me on time.
I was on time.
I know.
Hit me with a roadblock. But it's your boy Fonz.
Rap Nerd League.
It's your boy AJ.
What's going on, y'all?
We got a special guest today.
We got a special guest.
Tell them your name, where you from?
My name is Rich. I'm from the Bronx. What's going on, people?
Rich from the Bronx.
Rich from the Bronx.
From the Bronx.
Yeah, got the little accent from the Bronx.
Oh, man. But this
South Bronx where hip-hop was born, or just like the other part?
No, I'm from the South Bronx.
Say that, you know what I mean?
South Bronx, most definitely.
Okay. So listen. Hey, Rich, you sent me a text message and said, yo, check out the documentary on Who Killed Malcolm X. I said, I'm gonna check it out. So I did. And it was quite interesting.
Very interesting.
So I want you to help kick this off. What was so interesting about this actual documentary to you?
What made it so different for me is growing up.
Take your mic up. So you got hunched down. There you go.
Growing up, you taught one way of thinking how it went. I was raised in a house where, my mother had 150 books. Black Robes, White Justice,
Right.
all of that. Read the Malcolm X autobiography 100 times.
Required reading, yo. Straight up.
And it was nothing like what was in that documentary.
Right.
The way they painted him, because when you read about him, you read him like he's not human.
Right.
But when you watch a documentary, you see he's a man.
That's a fact.
He's just a regular man. He was a student. There's a way of life, a way things are supposed to be done in every society.
Right.
And with what happened to him, was it right or wrong? Now you got to look at it as understanding the different societies and the way we police ourselves. Were they wrong or were they right?
I think the question of right or wrong is what's ultimately subjective. Because when you're on the outside looking in, you may think it's wrong, but when you're raised in that edict in that type of environment, it's right. You know what I mean? Because I felt the same way watching it. You know what I mean? Of course, growing up reading the books, or reading the main book, the autobiography, reading that, and then just the movie and all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then when you see this documentary and you're like, oh wait, he was infallible like me. You know what I'm saying? And then you're like, well, nah, he wasn't wrong. But then when you see how people were raised inside the religion and stuff, they like, wait a minute. I see their point of view too.
Of course.
So it's like, you know what I mean? It was a good documentary because it conflicts you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I think that was dope. How you feel about it?
Like I said previously, behind the scenes, that documentary is something new to people. But like to me, I'm not gonna say it's old news, but it's stuff that I heard about.
Right.
You know what I mean? For one, because my father grew up. You know what I mean? My father's Muslim. I'm Muslim, but my father raised me that way.
Right.
So it was a different insight, and he was like strong on Malcolm X. Like, we have the paper, the original paper. Like, it's in plastic and everything. Like, you know what I mean? In the living room. It's a conflicted thing for me because you know what I mean. I still attend what is known as Mass Shit 25 now.
Right.
I've never been nowhere else.
Right.
Except for when I was like in a different state, whatever.
Right.
But as long as I've ever been in Jersey, I've never been to another Mass Shit. Like,
Right.
So again, the stuff that people came from our masjid, you know what I mean? Like that's not nothing new to me. Like I've heard it.
Right.
And it's a lot of stuff that's in the documentary that's like, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, like
a lot of them were, convicted felons that turned their life around.
Right.
That's my whole masjid. You know what I mean? But from the culture that we come from and that type of people, that's why we're so close though.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everybody's
you got that bond.
Yeah, everybody's relatable. You know what I mean? So I was raised by men. You know what I mean? Like real men, a man. So even going to that masjid, growing up in that masjid, if something did happen from that masjid, again, I grew up from men that came from the street, so it would have never be spoke upon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it ain't nothing to murmur about, whisper about. If somebody said it, yeah, get him up out of here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're not dealing with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? My E-man at the time, he talked about it and how, you know, because it came up again. You know what I mean? He talked about it. E-man Akbar, he talked about how allegedly they came from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ain't no allegedly. They came from here.
What I'm saying,
But
like,
I understand why you want to put allegedly.
You know what I mean?
They
Like,
came-
you know what I mean? Allegedly, they came from our masjid. You
Right.
know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah.
Like, yes.
Allegedly, they came from there.
Yeah, they came from our masjid. You know what I mean? It, like I said, it's different when you're like in the meat of it.
Right.
Like, I literally grew up listening and following like these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, so then when they say it, it's like the crazy coincidence is that there's a picture of me in a documentary.
Yeah.
You are definitely there.
That's a fact.
It's a picture of me in
Okay.
a documentary.
I'll show you.
And
All right.
that's my masjid. Like, you know
exactly.
what I mean? Like, it's crazy. You know what I
Like
mean?
seeing that this ultimately made it that much more real for me, because I'm like, wait a minute, that's my cousin right there. You know what I mean? So it's not a random documentary that you watch on Netflix. Like this is our real life. You know what I'm saying?
So, like, before the documentary comes out,
Right.
if I know you before it comes out, and you're from that masjid,
Yes.
but that's something that is not spoke about, right? So I would have known you that whole time, and I knew that. And now that they've made it public with this Netflix special, now it would be all right to talk about it with you.
Yeah, we talk about. I could talk about what I know. All that happened before me. You know what I mean? Before I was born. But
Yeah.
the aura of the people and the structure that we come from. Again, I come from men. So if any dealings was happened before I was born, and these men are still alive, there's nothing to speak about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Like,
we
I'm sorry.
yeah, because we go on with our faith and our belief. You know what I mean? So anything that did happen, they got to deal with our law and rectify. You know what I mean? Their wrongs. But this day and age, the day by day, we don't talk about it. If somebody speaks about it, we ignore it and we keep pushing.
Okay.
I have nothing to do. I wasn't born, so I don't have nothing to comment on the actual. Again, the men that I know that's in my masjid now, they're men. They would never speak about something that they did or not. You know what I mean? Your sins are kept privately, so you got to deal with Allah with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? As always.
Because when I was watching it, I noticed the difference between the posture, the speech of the Muslims that was from Mosque number 7 and the gentleman that was from Mosque 25.
Right.
It's a different strength.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't want to say New York and Jersey or Harlem and Newark, but it was just a different, you could see it, it's visible. It's a different strength.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I salute it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, even you don't know no people, but you could tell that it's a different strength. Again, I grew up in that. So again, like,
Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
By a different strength. Like, I'm from the South Bronx. So I understand that there's subcultures and everything.
yes.
I'm not a Muslim, but I had street life. So I understand that certain things are not to be spoke of. If you're there, it happened, we move on. You'll be part of it. Sometimes you won't be part of it. That doesn't change the fact. There's orders, there's rules, there's regulations in any sub-society we live in. And we know what happens when we go against it, right? So now something happens, somebody's always gonna ask questions. Because it's just the thing about being human. That's the one thing that stimulates the mind, is knowledge. So I'm gonna ask the question. That don't mean that the person has to tell you. Because I still gotta be true to what I've been taught, what I've been raised. Because me answering you doesn't always help the situation.
Correct.
Make it worse.
Because that question could breed more questions,
Exactly.
and people get exposed and all that stuff.
So
yeah.
even when I saw him doing the interview, when he was talking to the older brothers from Mosque number 7, and they were just dancing around stuff. They're answering the question, but they're answering the way that they don't want to answer it. Like, I'm gonna say this,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna. You didn't hear it from me.
Right.
There's nothing manly about that. But then when you talk to the brothers from Masjid 25, you ask the question, leave that alone.
No, they was
Like off rip, like
they
it
was
nothing to
stern
talk
as hell
about.
that like
Nah, bro, we not going.
and
there.
bro told him that, said, yo, leave that alone.
He said it like 8 times, yo. I counted.
And even as you keep on digging, you can see them trying to remain at peace, but you're not getting it. So I'm gonna say it to you like this: it's not a secret. We move down with our life.
Right. And he said that in the joint. He was like, it's an open secret, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know what's going on, but we're not gonna talk about it.
So I respect that to the fullest.
Yeah, like I said, like again, I always listen to my elders. You know what I mean? So anytime they're talking and I'm allowed to be there, you know what I mean? I listen. You know what I mean? So again, like it's conversations I heard that gave me enlightenment, different topics. But again, if anybody ever tried, just like you seen, if anybody came and tried to speak next, yo, get them up out of here. And it's serious. Like, yo, move them.
Yeah.
And I believe that's how it's supposed to be.
Again, like I mean, y'all two know, like my father, you know what I mean, was a stick-up kid. I mean, like
I know your father.
a stick-up kid, like my man, like Omar off of the wire. When you seen him come in the pool hall, you left because you knew what was happening. You know what I mean? And he did his time, and while he was in there, you know what I mean, he changed his life around. And again, all the people around him that happened to us, convicted felons, and it just so happened like majority of them happened to go to Master 25, and I feel close to all these men. I would guard them with their life because I know they guard me with their life. You know what I mean? So it's different. Like it's a different thing. So even people like, oh, and like, I don't know nothing about that. But then, again, I was raised by men. You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about. I can't speak of what I don't know. I know these men love me. I love them. We all practice Islam. That's all I know.
That's all that matters.
So let's get into the documentary a little bit more in detail. So the documentary kicked off.
Yeah.
What did you think about like the first episode or how they came? Was it really engaging? How did you gentlemen?
No,
we all saw it.
Yeah.
I don't know about you because you was part of it.
No, I watch it.
Oh, you watched it? Okay.
Yeah.
So we all saw it.
Yeah.
How did the first episode come off to you? If I can remember.
Well, yeah, I probably the freshest one here, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like the opening for me was like, it was like not an expose, but it was like just something like just setting the stage for what was about to happen. Like when you watch it, it gets darker each episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like that first one is like, okay, it's not happy, but it's like, all right, this is like, it felt standard basically, if I would put it that way. So then, as the minutes roll by, it starts breaking down different pieces and layers, and it's a very layered story already. Yeah. But I think this doc took the time and care to show those layers, and I appreciate it.
I did too.
Each like you said, each layer it grabs your attention in a different way. It makes you think about something different.
Makes you think critically, right?
Yeah. But again, I'm nothing new to this because like even being in the military, like. I always knew like the government is crazy. Yeah. Like I seen it firsthand. Like being in meetings and you know what I mean, gotta go through stuff. The government is crazy. You know what I mean? So
But hold on one second. For people who haven't seen it, this is a spoiler alert, you know what I'm saying? So if y'all ain't see it yet, that's on y'all.
Go check it out.
But we gonna talk about some stuff that happened in it. So when y'all don't be surprised, like, yo, y'all spoiled it. Warning y'all now. At 2:17 p.m. Spoiler alert.
The biggest thing if y'all can remember, that stood out to me, there's always somebody following him. Right?
Always.
There's always government officials following him.
That bugged me out.
They have him tapped at all times. Right. Even the phone of that day when he's in the back talking to his wife and he's telling her, I'm okay, you can bring the kids. Right. That phone conversation was tapped.
Everything was tapped.
And they proved it today like it was tapped. So you know who this man is, you're following him, you are close, you're in arm's distance.
Not even like more than arm's distance. Like his security detail was one of.
Let's get to that. Let's slow roll.
What I'm saying is,
we got a lot of time. We take
what I'm saying is they are in arm's distance.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
What I mean, there's no actual police. You know what I mean? Presence that day.
Yeah, that's cold blooded, man.
We're moving too fast. We're moving too fast.
Are we really?
You're already at. He dying.
I'm not at him dying. I'm talking about the presence. The presence.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like this, they're following him everywhere. You know what I mean? So to me, I look at things different. That's not nothing new to me. Like I know, if they want you, they want you. If they don't, they don't.
That's a
I
fact.
got this mapped out, guys.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Okay, I got
You got
trying,
timeline.
trying to organize this a little bit.
I apologize.
No worries. So I want to slow it back, slow it down because I want to walk through the relationship between Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad. So, because I want to kind of steer us in the direction of what you said, the government is crazy. I was more hurt with watching that. Excuse me. Than anything else. Why I was hurt was because I saw some really black, powerful men get taken down through the government being playing dirty, right? So they put things in place for them to separate.
You planted seeds for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that a little bit. Elijah Muhammad took him in immediately, right? So let's talk about that relationship. So, you know, what do you guys think about their relationship? It was more like a father-son relationship, correct?
Absolutely.
Father and son. Somebody's a teacher and somebody's learning.
Yeah.
It was to me, it was deeper than father and son because it was like they was one and the same, like a little version. Like it was deeper than father and son because Malcolm was allowed to do things in his house that his own sons wasn't allowed to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like again, he was able to drive the car,
Right.
Say what's going on and not going on inside of the house. His own kids don't even have that privilege.
Right. So that automatically breeds resentment with
He was
other
able
children.
to drive his car by himself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Is that
I
like a
didn't even
no-no?
know that.
Was that like a no-go or something like that? I don't.
I put it this way.
You're not supposed to do that.
he doesn't even drive his own car.
Right.
He has drivers.
Drivers, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Had drivers.
Yeah. So to be able to drive the car by himself,
Like independence.
Yeah.
like it was free range. You know what I mean? Because like I said, that's the part to me that is deeper than father and son. This is me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when we
It's
all
my
have
arm,
people.
basically.
Yeah, we all have people that we could see like a piece of us inside of them. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it was when they met and he felt
Right.
the energy. Yeah, this is me. You
And
know
then,
what I
like,
mean?
to build on that, he saw something that he wasn't as well. Like he was more articulate. You know what I'm saying? He was of taller stature. So like I see this man as being our greatest mouthpiece because he can articulately voice what I want to say, but I can't say. You know what I'm saying?
And it's known he's a bully. He's not scared of nothing.
Absolutely.
If he feels it and he has facts, he's going to stand on it. And,
Right.
and speak
Fervently
on it.
at that. You know
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying?
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So like I think that's what created that bond, or made that bond that much more rich, because he saw him as being, aside from his own children, he
Right.
saw him as being, you know, a weapon of sorts. You know what I'm saying?
So he was a really good asset of value.
Absolutely,
To
absolutely. Until
Nation of Islam.
he wasn't anymore. But we'll get to that.
It was a great,
The greatest, in my opinion.
great. He changed them. In the years he was there, he
Right.
switched it.
12
Tenfold.
years.
Yeah.
I mean,
He elevated
Yeah.
because they were saying how they had a certain amount of followers.
they basically made it. He basically made it mainstream at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because like what you about to say, like
Yes.
when they started, they had under 1,000 members. By
That's
the
true.
time he left, they were almost at 300,000.
He did 25,000 members in like a short period of time or something like that.
Couple, you know what I'm saying?
He grossed that. Not gross, but they had that many followers
Right.
come in. So that speaks to me about
Like people were drawn to him. You know
right.
what I'm
So to me, it tells me about like that will build some type of animosity amongst people, right? Because just like anything, you have people where you say we are a crew here. Let me get somebody else that has some type of ambition, and then like we kind of catapult them to a certain stature, and then someone is like, man, I don't like that.
Right.
How do you think that went? How do you think that went across some of the people that was already part of the Nation of Islam?
I mean, me personally, if we're a crew, right? Like I was in the service too. I was in the Army. I was airborne.
Yeah, me
so
too.
so the
82nd.
thing. Oh, okay. So the thing about it is, there's nobody that's bigger than the mission. There's nobody bigger than the machine. So if we a crew and you got blades and bars jumping off,
Appreciate that.
and he might be the strongest on the microphone.
Right. You know everything.
I
He
look
does.
good and I got a security swag. You understand what I'm saying?
And he a bully, by the way.
And he grew up in this, so he knows.
Right.
We all have to understand our roles and what we bring to the table to push the greater goal forward.
Absolutely.
And when I was listening to the brothers speaking, I didn't get that. Nah, he's doing this. It wasn't that. They was backing you until you went astray.
So wait, who went astray?
Until Malcolm started to go astray. When you start saying things that you don't need to be saying and doing things you need to be doing, we can't support that.
Right. Well, we're gonna dive into that a little bit. I definitely want to talk about that.
Because I got a theory on it too. But yeah.
Okay, what you about to say?
I think for the most part, in all over the world, I was told it's two type of leaders. Mm-hmm. A made leader and a born leader. Malcolm was a born leader.
He was.
So the people around him that was followers, and not leaders, they didn't appreciate an outsider coming in and just stepping into leadership.
Wow.
That's the craziest thing. It's the same thing we talked about last segment when Dame made Cam the president.
I was about to tie that to music. I was about to tie that to music.
It's the same thing. Right. You know what I mean? So
even though to me, that was probably the smartest move to make Cam president, because Dipset was so on fire that it would have been the smartest thing to do. But
it made sense business-wise. But
business-wise. Right. So making Malcolm that leader and giving him that spotlight was the most beneficial thing.
It was business-wise. Now, correct. In the culture, they hated it. Now, you're going to bring more followings. All right, we respect that, but we don't got to like it. That's what that was. Like you said, brothers is like, oh, now why he get to do this and he had this and he's speaking like this. They're not thinking that he's allowed to. Elijah Muhammad's not saying nothing. It's the people around him that got to him. You know what I mean? Like, it was the people around him. Because Elijah Muhammad, he sat back. Go ahead, go here. I need you to go do this. I go do this. He's sending Malcolm to these places.
And he executed on everywhere he sent him.
You know what I mean? Like, I think people are not paying attention to that part of the documentary. He is being sent out, and he's doing it with no problem. It's the people around him. Why he get to go here? We never been there before. Why is he doing that? With all of it? Why didn't he pick him? Why didn't he pick him?
Right. Jealousy, man.
He was here before him. Right. Nah, he doing too much. He want to be his own man. No, I'm doing what my leader told me to do.
I'm just doing it better.
I'm doing it to a T.
Right. And if you can't respect that, I mean, but I think everyone's point is that the downfall of this whole situation was due to like a human emotion, which is pettiness. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I think that's what ultimately caused his demise. And
a lot of jealousy in there.
Oh, I mean, petty and jealousness, whatever. Yeah, like all that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it plays a part. It played the part, in my opinion.
Is there like you know how in the service you go from private, you move all the way up. Is there like a structure in the nation? Can you talk about that?
Oh,
they have lieutenants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got lieutenants in there.
Because I heard that, and I was sitting there. Yeah. So he comes in and he's just a minister?
Correct.
Well,
no. See, go ahead.
No, I'm saying from what I believe, he got to that point from being in prison,
right?
And then after meeting with the minister, he realized like he was drawn to him. Like, okay, wait, he can like once we. He worked his way into that position basically.
From prison.
He wasn't a lieutenant off rip, but he got there. He got there in record time.
He worked his way. Yeah. What happened was not even just off of prison. When he came home, you know what I mean.
He met with him in Chicago.
Yeah, but he was still doing small stuff. You know what I mean, cleaning and sweeping, handing out papers, etc.
Right.
You know what I mean. But once he met him, so now you're still doing those same things, but I got my eye on you.
Right.
Okay.
You said what? I like how you move. Hey, come here. Come sit right here. Come listen to me. You know what I mean? So then it's like you're on my hip and you're learning.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're catching on. Because it's one thing to learn something, it's another thing to understand it. He was learning and understanding. You know what I mean? So
he was able to grasp the teaching and then go out and
take it to another level.
Right.
Like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? You said this and this how we supposed to do it. I'm gonna put my spin on it and this what you meant. Boom.
Right.
And you were right. So you know what I mean? Like he moved up. It wasn't just like he was thrown in there. He did everything. You know what I mean? Came home, handed out papers, swept clean, you know what I mean? And then, hey, come over here and meet me. You know what I mean?
So my question is, due to the things that he was doing, right? He made, I ain't gonna say he made a lot of money, but he bought a lot of followings to make money. Yes? No? Is it positive? Am I saying that right? I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta. They had to pay dues and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
So more followers, more dues, more money. Nation of Islam, from what I understood, had millions of dollars. They're not paying taxes on that money. Smart.
Non-profit religion.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Amazing.
On top of that, like they had a business empire that was growing. They had newspapers, they had
barbershops.
food,
Yeah, no,
all that,
grocery
you know what I'm
stores.
saying?
All that. No, I got that.
So I mean, but like him being a star basically fed everyone else. You know what I'm saying? So like he was supremely beneficial.
After
Jerry, you are absolutely right. The organization did grow immensely after Malcolm X got there.
you got to think about it.
Right.
In every speaking that he has, a collection is being
passed.
Yeah.
Collection is taken. So you think you had a situation and you're speaking and it's 5,000 people. Everybody give $1, it's $5,000, right?
That's a fact.
Think about the people that put in $10, $5, $100,
$20. Right.
Some people believed and put it all.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then imagine him.
And Allah rectify me later. Right?
And imagine him speaking the entire weekend. That, you know what I'm saying?
He's on tour. He's on tour.
Yeah, he's on tour. But I'm saying like to say like he started today, like Friday, and did like 3 shows on a Friday, 3 shows Saturday.
3 shows, both 10,000 people.
Come on now. You know what I'm saying?
He grew the crowds larger and larger every time.
Each time.
So
You saw what they said. Like,
the part where I say that I was a little hurt by it, they took the 2 down, was because I felt like there was a lot of jealousy.
Yeah, of course.
And when you have jealousy, and you allow someone to, I guess, show you that, hey, this might not be right. Why are you letting him do this, like you were saying? Why him? Why him? People will do anything and say anything to get that person out of the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
So the guy from, I forgot his name, James Shabazz?
Okay.
Which one?
That's his name? I don't want to make sure I got it right.
Which one, the narrator?
Nah, the dude from Damas 25.
He was.
Is that his name? I know you're a lot older. You're young. He's way older than us. Right there.
Mustafa Shabazz?
No. The dude that was over. He didn't like Malcolm. I think his name was James Shabazz, correct?
I don't remember, bro.
I want to think that. I know you're talking about the guy. He had glasses.
Glasses.
Round face.
He was the minister at
25.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't like Malcolm. And most of the
He said
reason,
that he pandered to the TVs.
right.
Pandered to TV screens.
Right.
But I think he just didn't get selected to do what Malcolm did. He had a very close relationship with Elijah Muhammad. Him and Elijah Muhammad was in jail together, correct?
Yes.
He said that. So I felt like he felt as though his just due, that was his just due. Look, yeah. James Shabazz. Appreciate you, Jerry. Happy you just watched it. James Shabazz. I'm on my joint. He was jealous of him, man. And I think that was not the kickoff, but part of it.
But I agree with them. As a business, you have to present the best looking package.
Which was Malcolm X.
Which was Malcolm X. He was tall.
Yeah.
He was well versed. He was charismatic.
Very.
Magnetic, all that.
And he had, I watched a lot of Malcolm X speeches. Just recently, after watching the documentary, I saw something with Elijah Muhammad. It was some movements that he used to do while he was speaking. And then I went back and watched some of the other Malcolm X speeches again.
He did the same movement.
And he's using the same movements. So it's like that turn to the side. It's that little laugh after you say something. It's the
small things.
It's the cadence.
Right.
Yeah.
He has his cadence. He has his poise. And whenever he starts to get a little too out of control, he turns back and he looks at him, he nods, and he goes back in.
Yeah.
So
basically getting authorization.
Correct.
Can I go? Right. You know, I know
yeah.
I'm good, Pop. All right, good.
Right. No.
And it might sound crazy, but to me that was like, it was beautiful.
No,
amazing. I was sitting there and I was watching.
I would agree.
Because even when you look at it, I don't want to go too far ahead, but one of the greatest displays of that was I watched all those Malcolm X speeches. And you don't really think of Elijah Muhammad as charismatic or funny. Every time I saw him, I thought he was serious.
All the time.
But did you see the part when it was talking about Cassius Clay?
Yeah.
He was like, they said that he was going beat your face up.
Mm-hmm.
But Allah and I said, no. And they went crazy. It was just 3 seconds. It's just having the people in your hand. And when you sit there and you wonder how he was able to just, it was teachings.
Right.
He was a teacher. And what I don't have, I can instill in you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go where I can't go.
That's
So it was a beautiful thing to me, but I see how other people seeing that because they loved Elijah Muhammad.
They did.
So for me to do, if I'm telling you, and I believe it in my heart, I will do anything for you to keep you safe, to keep you happy, to keep you healthy. I know this for a fact. Now here comes Malcolm. He's saying it, but I don't believe him.
Right.
He's not going to keep you as safe as I'm going to keep you.
That's a fact.
He's not going to put you first the way I'm going to put you first.
Right.
And you're believing him, and you're letting him go out there instead of me, who I am telling you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I am the one that's going to do anything I have to put Allah and the messenger first.
Right.
So I get it. I'm not saying that he was doing things that warranted the jealousy, but that is a natural human emotion.
Exactly.
When you believe in something as strongly as y'all believe. So,
But I guess the question for that I have is like, at what point do you recognize it and you rein it in? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta like, of course you see someone getting the shine or whatever, but you gotta like you said earlier, you gotta realize it's for the greater good. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like there should have been a checks and balance system in place. Like, wait a minute, I'm bugging. You know what I mean? Like, this is good for us.
Now, there are checks and balances, you know, that they have. You know, I'm pretty sure, without a doubt, if, and they said it before, if when people in the beginning, when people first started talking bad about Malcolm, Elijah Muhammad didn't play that. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you don't speak of him. You know what I mean? Like, nah, you don't speak bad of him. And he said he's out here doing the greater good. You know what I mean? Like, you don't speak bad of him. So there was checks and balances, but at the same time, you can only control a person and their emotions so much.
Right.
and
That's just like, control off. Somebody do some crazy stuff, right? You go to jail. Like, I went to jail. That doesn't mean just because he's in jail, he ain't gonna do it no more. You know what I mean? Like, he got his checks and balances. He could come out and do it again. He could do it while he's in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think like that part for me, it just made me sad because I'm like, yo, it didn't have to be that. You know what I mean? Like the secretary, I forget his name, but you can see it in his face. Even as an old man, he still was like bitter about some stuff. Like the way he was like just mad, not callous, but he was just like apathetic about just the whole situation. Like, yeah, well, hey, you know,
and you know what?
that's why I give it up. Like,
It's a crazy situation, but at the same time, I could respect it because he's standing on what he believes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
you have to respect it.
I could respect it. You know what I mean? Because again, like I said, these are men. Like the generation that we have coming up, you know what I mean, is different when you look back.
We're not 100% the same.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like, these are men. If I said it, I said it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I wanted it to happen. One man said, well, he's sitting in there, he got asked, did you have anything to do with the killing of Malcolm X?
same
No.
dude, yes, secretary.
Yeah, hold
dude,
on. No. I could if I wanted to.
Right.
I remember
He
that.
said, Elijah Muhammad told me not to. But even then, he said, I could if I wanted to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this man, like, I'm 70 years old. Wasn't nobody gonna do nothing to me then, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to me now.
That's true. And he said
You
that
know
he
what
was
I mean?
like, you know,
Straight face.
and he said if he did have to go to do it, it would have happened a lot sooner than it did. I was like, oh snap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. Whew, got chills. You know what I'm saying?
These are men.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're following, like I always tell people, Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's literally a way of life. Teach you how to do everything. You know what I mean? Divorces, you know what I mean? How to split up your insurances, everything, you know what I mean? It is written. Right. So when you see it and you understand it and you follow that to a heart and to a T, you know what I mean? Like, it's certain stuff that goes on, you're going to stand on it no matter what, right? Whether I believe it's right, whether I believe it's wrong, I'm not moving. You know what I mean? And any man can appreciate that. You probably don't agree with that man said, his expression. Yeah. You have to like respect it.
I respected it, like, and I damn sure didn't agree with it. I was just I'm looking at it like that's cold blooded, but I respect it. You know what I'm saying?
So I have a parallel to a lot of the things that happened then that does happen now. So
right. What's up?
What I saw also in a documentary when the government said, you know what, they were feeding the media outlets certain information that they was getting from the wiretaps, right? And the headlines, it's very similar to what goes on now. So to me, nothing has changed over 40, 50 years.
Oh, the media is always going media, regardless. You
right. So you know how
it's been that since the beginning of media.
They try to, and part of the jealousy came from the headlines.
Absolutely, without question.
Why should you?
You know what I'm saying?
You can't fix something that's not broke.
No, I got it. But what I'm saying is we should know better, and we don't.
You would have thought by
right.
That was like 50 years ago. We would learn something.
You would think that we would learn is what I'm saying,
but it
hasn't. We haven't learned anything.
It's not that we haven't learned, but you got to think back then, the media was only paper, right?
Yeah, but it's even worse now.
Yeah, so there's more media, so there's more ways to view stuff. You know what I mean?
No. What I'm saying is, I'm with you on that. Yes. Yeah. But it's the shit that we believe in. Like we actually click on it. We actually go into it. Like they're not going to create these headlines if we give it no attention. Right. So the more attention that we give it, they're going to keep doing it. What I'm saying is we should have learned to go, we ain't paying that no attention. Let's keep on what we're doing. Even though it's hard, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that should be the narrative. Go ahead.
What you got to remember is that that headline is not for the people. That headline is directed at one person.
Correct.
So when they was saying this about Malcolm and Muhammad, the only people that them headlines was for
it's for them too.
Was Malcolm and Muhammad.
Right, but other people that read the paper, the level of support is what I'm saying is
that's
now
collateral damage.
No, I got it. No, that's what I'm saying. They set that up. Right. That's just it still happens to this day. Yeah. It's what I'm saying, and we haven't learned from that.
And that's why I said if it's not broke,
you don't fix it. I'm with you on that.
This is the way that they control.
They control everything.
They provide a wedge.
Right.
So you say
divide and conquer. Yeah.
So you say you give these young brothers the ability to make tens of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right.
Right? And you got them on cameras. And the social media thing done exploded.
Yep.
And they're everywhere all the time.
All the time.
To the point where one young brother puts on a dress and 500,000 young boys put on dresses.
That's a fact.
So he's too powerful.
Way too powerful. But that's how they thought about Malcolm.
This is it. It's the Black Messiah.
But listen, at that time,
you know what I'm saying?
At that time, for Malcolm to have that much power, before Malcolm got there, the Nation of Islam was already under investigation. But he just amplified it times 10. They was already on him. They was not supposed to have that type of power at all.
According to the government.
Right. Yeah, government. Yeah. They dirty. Well, I want to go to...
I mean, cut you off. What happens is, you said you was in the service, so you can understand this. The government don't mind you having power. It's if they can't have a piece of the power to control you.
If they can wield it.
Yeah, you can have all the power in the world, and we want you to have power as long as I can have a piece of this power.
100%.
You know what I mean? That's the thing.
That's what
you know what I mean.
About.
So if the government was able to have some part of the nation at that time, everybody would still be alive. If the government was able to have some piece of Martin Luther King,
he'd still be alive.
Everybody alive. They can't. They fear what they can't control.
I know it.
You know what I mean?
Biker gangs still exist. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm gonna say about that.
They have pieces.
The white
in that,
biker gangs, they do exist.
But they have pieces in that though.
You got to realize they tried it. J. Edgar Hoover tried it. He sent the parcels to Elijah Muhammad.
He did.
Yeah.
Slow him down.
Oh, they did.
Cool him down.
Yeah.
And I believe in all the things that Elijah Muhammad did with Malcolm was to protect him.
Oh, no, 100%. If he would listen to him, he would still be alive.
You got to think about it. We're all grown men.
And
we've all identified that the media uses tricks and they plant seeds.
They do.
That had to be a lesson that he taught him.
100%.
People are going to say things to put a wedge between us to gain control. If they divide us, then it's easier to kill us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, when everything goes on and everything, there's bullets flying everywhere, there's people screaming.
Right.
Now, all you supposed to be able to do is go off what you've been trained with.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose yourself, if you can't center yourself and you can't remember your teachings, you fall for anything.
That's true.
True. Now, what I can say is that he was brought up one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Teachings and everything. He was in a box.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you said, the white supremacists, et cetera, right? Now, when he went, I mean, I'm moving along though, but when he made Hodge and he seen that, yo, all white people don't hate me. It's the white people over here that hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get there, let's just go about that.
You understand? So
No,
it's
I get
like,
you.
it wasn't that he wasn't listening to Elijah Muhammad. It
Right.
was like,
He just gained more enlightenment.
I seen more. It's okay.
Before you get there, before you get
All
there.
right, yeah.
So let's talk about the people that shot him. I don't know if y'all know
Yeah, for sure.
that. Well, not y'all watched the documentary. Obviously, the documentary lets you know that the police, like you said, wasn't there. No police
They
presence.
had 2 officers there upstairs
That's
though.
it. Upstairs chilling. Nobody got patted down.
Yeah, of course.
That's what they was able to bring the ratchets.
No. That wasn't the police though. Malcolm said he don't want nobody to be patted down.
No, I got you. I know.
he said-
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Will nobody be patted? No, I'm just saying. I'm telling you, what did not happen.
The attackers
Yeah.
knew that though.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
that's
So-
not all his. That wasn't just for that. That's for everything.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't get patted down. They knew that. That's why they was able to come in with the guns. They didn't have if they would have had the police security, maybe they would have patted them down. We don't know. But a week and a half before that, the police quote unquote said that he bombed his own home, but they planted. That's not true.
Yeah.
What was shocking to me was when Elijah Muhammad said he did that to himself. I was like, that's telling. But I don't think he meant it in a way like he literally did it by himself.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
he
people
brought on-
people took that and twisted it to
Right,
make
he
it
brought
seem like
that-
he did it to himself. Like
Right.
literally,
Nah.
but that was a figure of speech. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
He really
Like,
brought all this attention onto himself, which is what you said earlier. These things that Elijah Muhammad was trying to do for him was trying to protect him.
Yeah.
I really agree with that.
Nah.
but at a certain point, I mean, cut you off. But at a certain point, when you saw the documents, a lot of that stuff was cold. You know what I'm saying? And when you really look at it, like on the surface, it looks like he didn't have anything to do with it, or he didn't want anything to happen to him. But when you read certain things, if you have a base of historical knowledge, you see what he really was talking about. You're like, oh wait, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? So that's what disheartened me a lot too, because it's like, yeah, like
Did he really want to X him out? Is what you're saying?
I mean, he did. I mean, I don't know that, but what I'm saying is like he created an atmosphere for it to happen. It may not have been by his hand literally or the people closest to him hand, but he created an environment or like an element where it could have happened. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't give a direct order, but he insinuated some things.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that was most disheartening. Like once you see the documents and you're like, oh wait, that's deep. Like just certain verbiage that was said. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if like the way dude broke it down, like because he had a historical base. Like wait, that means this, that means that. You know, we start talking about Moses, things like that. Like, oh snap! But by this time, everybody's dead already. So it's like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I think
That's deep.
from what I believe, what I watched over the years, I think what happened was, like you said, he was trying to protect him. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
I agree with that.
we safe in our box. They can't do nothing to us in our box.
Right.
Now, you go outside this box now.
Right.
You're on the own. We can't back you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was like, it's okay. Allah gonna protect me. He's like, yeah, Allah gonna protect you, but you're safer
Right.
over here though. So now,
In this world, you're safer.
Yeah, yeah. So-
Like on the planet Earth, you're safer
Yeah.
in this box. But yeah.
so
I got you.
now, naturally, if we always been together, we this close, and I spread apart, people already gonna think that we're beefing.
Right.
So if people think that we're beefing, they're gonna spread that we're beefing. So then after a while, me and you are gonna become beefing.
They're gonna be
You know what I
enemies.
mean? Yeah. So you know what I mean?
I do believe that Elijah Muhammad was petty as hell for kicking him out, for suspending him for 90 days.
No,
Petty as hell.
no,
No,
Speak on it.
no.
And
Why? Oh, you don't believe it either? Okay, go ahead.
What?
I'll let y'all talk first.
Well-
I want to eat my cashews.
I'm gonna say this as an outsider.
Okay. I'm an outsider too.
I'm gonna say this as an outsider because I'm sure he could get way more in depth. But from what I was listening to, even if you take away the Kennedy, the whole thing that happened with Kennedy,
that was the petty part.
The situation in L.A. was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
What you mean?
When he was like when the brother got killed and he wanted to like do something.
Right.
He wanted to form a movement.
But that was his boy. That was his man. He
that's beautiful.
I feel that.
That's beautiful, and I agree with you. But you talking about taking people that's willing to die for what they believe in to go against the police. Do you know what would have happened if they'd have killed one police officer at that time?
They would have blamed Malcolm.
No, they wouldn't have blamed Malcolm. They'd have killed all them people out there.
Right. No, I mean that too. But he still
So
would blame him,
sometimes
he wouldn't have been out there.
you have to understand being a leader is not always about making a decision that is liked
Not correct.
and appreciated.
Yeah.
It's
I
about
understand
making the right decision. And
Understand
Elijah
that.
Muhammad is saying, listen, we can't go to war with the police. We got too much going on right now.
Right.
We can't go to war with the police.
Yeah.
So you get upset about it.
Not to go against you though. The police out here killing people now.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he didn't tell him to do nothing, he didn't want him to do anything about it, is why they still doing the shit now.
It's not that you don't want him to do nothing about it. It's playing the long game.
It's a time and a place, right?
They want you to come back
right
and do something so they can wipe all of us out.
Right. I get that.
At
But
one
nobody
time.
was saying anything about it at all. It was quiet until Malcolm said something about it. It was just gonna get swept under the rug and no one cared.
Nah.
It wasn't social media where that shit spreads. Back then, what happened in a certain area was isolated. It wasn't like it is now.
All right, let me ask you a question. It's the four of us, right? Mm-hmm. And with each of us, there's 500 people, right?
I'm with you.
So you got your 5, he got his 5. That's 2,000 people. Somebody put their hands on him. You the one that's always sitting here talking about if they do this, if they do that, we gonna do this and we gonna do that.
I'm with you.
I'm sitting here
saying
I understand and I let you vent. I understand. But before I let you take these 2,000 men outside
let's
and
talk
let
about
them
it.
get killed, right? For something that we can do smarter later. We can hit them another way later.
There's definitely chess moves out here.
Because they done.
But how do we know that?
But
how do we know that Malcolm didn't have a plan? So basically, what you're saying is
No, they said
let's talk about
he wanted to rally.
Right.
And he wanted to get into a physical altercation.
I don't think he really
with
wanted
police out there.
But that was always his message, by any means necessary. He ain't never changed that. That was his stance from the time he walked in there.
I get that, and it sounds good, but how smart is it?
I'm with you. I agree. But what I'm saying, why it's petty is because he didn't just start to get.
I see what you're saying.
He didn't just start saying, "Oh, let's start rallying and fight back." He was saying that the second he walked in.
But this is different because this is personal.
No, I get that, but check it.
Hold on, wait.
No,
Okay,
you about to say
you
this,
got me.
right? I do got you. What he's saying is that everyone knew that Malcolm's greatest asset was to rally people and to say things that would get people up in arms. Elijah knew that. So for him, and I think that's where the petty part comes in, because he knows that. I mean, he knows that, right?
Right.
So for him to shut him down, he's exerting a certain area of control.
Right.
Like, yo, I know you want to do this and you're good at doing that, but I'm a
Tell you no.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you no, just cause I can to keep that.
And on top of that, another fact.
I got you, cuz.
He said, and everybody in the Nation of Islam at that time, when Martin Luther King was Mr. Nonviolent,
Right.
they wasn't nonviolent. Why do you want to stand back now and be nonviolent, or you know what I'm saying?
We don't know if they were nonviolent, but
what I'm saying is I'm talking about Martin Luther King. You know, turn the other cheek.
Right.
Well, see,
The whole time they wasn't about turning the other cheek.
Well, see, that's not. We getting this confused and twisted up.
How?
Muhammad Ali. I mean, excuse me.
Muhammad Ali.
You got me bugging right now. Excuse me. Martin Luther King
Oh, we got you.
is following the Gandhi mantra of civil disobedience,
I got you.
which means I can be passively aggressive with you. I can be passively resistant with you. That is something that these young boys is doing outside to this day.
That's a fact.
So when they come up to you and they say, put your hands on the wall, why am I putting my hands on the wall, officer? That is being civilly disobedient. I'm not resisting you.
No, I don't think he.
I
meant that.
just want the information. I want to know why you have me doing that.
Yeah, I'm still gonna do it. I want to know
but
why.
and I don't think that
But that
Malcolm
was-
X meant, yo, officer, back up off me or I'm swinging. I don't think he meant that.
No, that's what I'm saying to you. Now, I don't know Malcolm.
Neither do I. Or none of
Right.
us in here.
Right.
So when you say being civilly disobedient is Uncle Tom shit.
Okay.
That's Uncle Tom shit. We're not doing that. We're not going to be civilly disobedient.
Right.
You have been disobedient with us. You have been aggressive and physical with us. The only way to stop that is to be physically aggressive with you.
Match your energy.
So we have to match force. Now, once we match force, we are brothers. Some of us might have firearms. Some of us might be firearm trained. Some of us are not. I guarantee you, the opposition that you're going to meet, all of them are firearm trained. At that time, all of them was waiting for that green light to do something.
Correct.
And if we do manage to beat them, you are going to see the National Guard.
100%. Yeah.
That's what's coming next.
Everybody.
Because once we do that, it's not about us being a religion no more. They're going to make us
We're terrorists.
terrorists.
100%.
And who deals with the terrorists? It's not the police.
No.
It's the government.
Right.
And when they come in, they wipe everything out.
No, that's
Through the
100%.
tanks, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're
100%. I'm just saying.
And
Mr.
again,
Nonviolent.
That was my point.
What?
It wasn't that, you know what I mean? Again, he wasn't trying to protect him, but he's letting him know, if you go outside of our box, you're on your own.
No, he did. He did.
You know what I mean?
But the Kennedy thing was taken out of proportion. I know what he meant, and I ain't even. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't never heard that analogy before in my life until watching it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm being
But when
honest.
we first started talking today, the first things that I said is there are rules
100%.
in these subcultures.
Right.
There's a rank structure. It has to be followed.
100% to the T.
Nobody is bigger than the machine. You are Malcolm. You are that. But I am Elijah Muhammad.
That's a fact.
And this is right.
And if I tell you
Don't say nothing.
the people love this man,
Right.
we are of the people.
But his comment wasn't in any disrespect to this man.
Don't speak
It
his
didn't- it didn't
name.
matter.
Hear it. Don't even speak about this topic.
Right.
That's crazy.
At that point, it didn't matter. It's like
I'm
the
going to break it
people-
down to you.
No,
like
I mean, I
this.
understand what y'all saying.
Yeah.
I understand what y'all saying.
So
but
I got a
to
question.
suspend him for 90 days?
Yeah, but I got a question. So we doing an interview, right? On whoever. And the dude already said, don't ask me this question.
He asked you anyway.
And you go ask this question.
He storm him out.
You know what I mean? So what are we supposed to do? Like, hey, we told you don't ask this question.
No, I'm with you on that.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
got you. I'm 100%. I'm with y'all.
Again,
I'm just talking about 90 days, and then
Whoa.
for my man to say you never coming back.
checks and balances.
Yeah, he was trying to do everything. He was doing everything in his power those 90 days to get back right.
But listen though, yeah, he was,
But that's what I'm talking about. When that happened, it was this whole entire time I was telling you he was about himself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you letting them get in your ear when you know that's not what he was about. You
It's kinda
understand
like-
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
now, I don't know if that makes sense. What I'm
I'm a
saying.
little confused.
It reminded me with
at
Othello.
I'm a little confused at because I don't want to say the wrong thing. You get suspended for 90 days.
Right.
Right?
Huh?
And he's not saying anything.
Correct.
He's saying whatever, he's not saying anything.
And when they do, hold on, let me help you out. And when they do ask him the questions, he's like, I love him. He's taught me everything. He's speaking positive as hell about Elijah Muhammad.
But
Like,
see,
continue.
there's a thing about trust. Right? There's I hold this genuinely. There's a thing about trust. And once you blemish it, once you damage it,
Never be back right.
I can't trust you
Right.
in that capacity. So
Never
now we
will.
got to talk about everything that I put into you.
Right.
All the energy. Like he said, you're doing things my children aren't allowed to do. I have put myself out. I have stepped in front of everybody that wanted to do anything to you.
Right.
And I look like I know what I'm talking about when you're doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Now I give you a direct order. He probably gave him 2 or 3 direct orders
That he ain't
the
followed.
whole time they've been together.
Right.
I don't put a muzzle over you. I let you say and because we gotta understand Elijah Muhammad is religion and your politics.
That's true.
I let you go.
But those politics helped you grow your following though.
But what I want you to understand is the only reason why you can say the things that you say,
Because I allow you to.
is because I've provided the protection for you.
Correct.
And the
I
platform.
provided the platform,
Right.
the environment,
Yep.
and I taught you
That's
this
true.
higher point of thinking because you weren't born like this.
Correct. But
And now with all of that, you go out, and the one thing I said when I was not going to send you at all,
Right. Yeah.
I
that's
wasn't
true.
going to send you because you didn't have no control over yourself.
That's true.
And you gave me your word, and I won't do this, and I won't do that. All right, you go be yourself. But if they ask anything, do not say anything about the president.
I got y'all. Listen, I understand that. I'm just saying what he said was not that bad that he needed to be
It
suspended.
was bad.
Yo, bro, all he said was, you know what it was? Look.
No.
Nah. I'm telling you. I know I could feel what happened. Like, I felt the fact that I understand you gave me a directive. He didn't even answer the question, really. Like, he didn't really answer the... If he had the green light to really answer the question, he would not have said that. That would not have been his...
He'd have went in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So my point is, all he said was, what was the chickens have come home to roost or something like that?
That's what he said.
When I heard it, I was like, oh, that ain't that bad. Like, he basically saying, so you white people been killing us this entire time, and now it's your own people killing your own people, and now everybody's sad, but no one's sad when y'all killing us.
Right.
And he walked off.
But
Listen,
at the same time,
the media was able to
I get that point.
Spin that, right?
No, they were, but
And
at the
make him
same
look
time,
bad.
he paused before he said that, so that means he thought about it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
The nicest thing he could say. He thought about the nicest
No,
thing.
He
of
wasn't
course.
supposed to
Yeah, exactly.
say
I don't have no
anything.
comment.
That's
Exactly.
it. He could have easily
So
said that and
I'm-
been done with it.
I'm gonna
Right.
break it down to you like
I
this.
just want to play devil advocate. I'm on your side. I'm just saying.
Your mother tell you don't go outside.
No, I want y'all.
No, but listen, your mother tell you don't go outside. You know not to go outside.
I'm going outside.
Somebody ring the doorbell and you go all the way outside on the porch and she pulls up.
Ooh.
And you like, all I did was answer the door.
It was too late. I saw you outside, boy.
Why don't you answer the door through the window?
I don't know
You
what to tell
feel
you.
me? Like,
Yeah.
don't answer the door.
Nah, listen.
You know what I
got
mean?
y'all. I got y'all. I just had to play devil's advocate.
Nah.
'Cause some people might be like, yo, he was wilding. Some, might be like, damn well.
At the end of the day, at the status he was at, unless you were in the fold like y'all are, a lot of people, when you think of Nation of Islam, you think Malcolm. If you're not in the fold like y'all are, if you're not blessed with the knowledge to know these things,
My first thought is,
when you
would
think
be
of,
him.
when you think of the Nation of Islam, you think Malcolm X,
that's true.
and then somebody might tap you, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and then there's other people that they'll say.
But it's Farrakhan now. It's definitely Farrakhan.
So,
But now,
I mean back then.
No, I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
No, I got you.
So what I'm saying to that fact is, all the people listening to that radio and watching that TV, when you say that, they not saying Elijah Muhammad told him not to say nothing. They saying Elijah Muhammad told him to say that.
No, I got you.
That's how
100%.
they all feel.
Right.
They think it's a joke.
Mhm.
They laughing about the only president that cared about black people.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
He got killed, and they think it's a joke. So now you're not only turning white people,
You're turning your own
you're
people
turning black people.
away.
Which is by grand design by the government because they knew that was going to happen. So
They
then,
did.
That's why they
Set the
asked him
precedent.
that.
Right.
That's why they asked him that.
Right.
There's no other
They was
reason
on a mission
to ask
to
him
ask
that.
that question.
So you think it was an informant that asked that question?
Nah, not an informant.
I think
but,
so.
But
I'm
you
sorry.
know, it's like this. He's a speaker. He likes to speak his mind.
I got you, bro. I got you. You guys, you said 3 minutes, 10 minutes. It's 3:02. I got one more 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's a speaker. He likes to speak his mind. He's going to be honest. Yo, go ask him that question. He got a directive. Now, he got a directive from his boss. Go ask him that question. And he followed through.
He did.
And he got him the answer.
All right, man. Listen, y'all gotta go watch the Netflix series. Who Killed Malcolm X is a good 6-episode series. It's great. And it's your boy AJ.
It's your boy Fonz.
Rap Nerd League.
Rich from the Bronx.
We out of here.
All right, man. Peace. But yeah, I was going to say,
Blazing bars, yo, they waiting
the
for
time
it.
ran out.
Hey, yo, the blazing bars, yo, they waiting for it. I said, what?